Okay, recording video on Sunday, the 16th of October, 2022. It's just gone 2:05 a.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So, another weekend futures market recap video. We'll go through 15 of the largest futures markets, and I'll show you what I am seeing on my charts after one heck of a week. We always knew the CPI numbers on Thursday were going to be absolutely key, and were they? Jeez Louise. Huge sell-off followed by a monster rally, which was a short covering rally, and I'll show you that on the tip bar charts in a second. So we're going to go through the E-mini chart, starting with the tip bar charts, and then go through the minute charts, and then we'll come back to each of the 15 markets and see if we can see some good signals this week and some signals coming up for next week. So this is the 13,500 tip bar chart, traditional view of the better indicators, where we've got everything to do with volume on the left hand side and everything to do with price on the right hand side. And you can see this is the sell-off that we had Thursday morning, 7:30 a.m. Chicago time before the open, when the CPI numbers kind of came out. And what do we do? 3,640 down to 3,500, kind of almost on the dot, kind of down here. Exhaustion sell signal, bullish divergence comes in, bang, and then that was a short covering rally. Short covering rally, and we just knew that was, you could feel it during the day as the market just progressed higher and higher, and each time we kind of broke to a little bit of a high above the previous high, we touched a whole bunch of stops that kind of triggered this continuing rally, and we keep on breaking higher and breaking higher, and it's like they just set off, those stops are set off each time, and that's a short covering rally. So all of those traders who are short kind of following this down, placing their stops, kind of along the way, and they just get triggered and triggered and triggered until they're all out of the market. And so that's an interesting dynamic that we've got at the moment, where all of those kind of shorts were stopped out of the market. So let's look at that on the higher time frame charts. But just to say, on this 13,500 tip bar chart, we're back down at 3,600, which is this absolute key level. It's been key for 3 weeks, and we keep on kind of coming to it. Obviously, we broke through it this week, but we're back up above it and come back down to test it. So 3,600 is the absolutely key number. So down here, is that enough to bottom it? We're pulled back to end of trend on the lowest time frame. We got cyclical support on the highest time frame in due at some point. We got a blue professional bar, but what I'm looking for is that exhaustion pattern on the downside to kind of test it. And after an exhaustion sell down here with a bullish divergence comes in at the zero line, I'm looking for a flush pattern, which would mean something like 10,000 read on better momentum here, and we're not there. We're at kind of zero on the momentum signal. So this for me is just a stair-step trade on the way down to find that support kind of down there. So that's the tip bar charts. On the 15-minute chart, this is the pattern I want to show you here. Big things happen at triples, and I say that triple signals are particularly like for big moves when the signals come really tight together. And look at this. So we got these three signals here. Supports 3607, 5991, 5999 3/4. So what is that? We're within 10-15 points, just right there. That's a triple. Big things happen at triples. So again, this is what this looked like on the daily chart, because the sell-off down to 3500 happened pre-open. It looks like a gap open down, and we kind of continue back up to exhaustion buy, blue professional bars at the highs, and we kind of are kind of rolling around at this point here on the 15-minute chart, back at this 3600 level. So big things happen at triples. So this is a pullback to end of trend on the highest time frame, syncing up with pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame, with pullback to end of trend on the intermediate time frame. So can everybody see that? It's unbelievable. So there's the pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame, intermediate time frame with the slightly thicker bars, and then it's a pullback to end of trend on the highest time frame there, because there's the pullback to end of trend. So it's a triple support, it's a triple pullback to end of trend. It's absolutely key, and we're just rolling around here. You can see the energy on the highest time frame is coming in to put in that resistance at that point, and on the way down here, we've got to be playing off the exhaustion patterns. We haven't seen exhaustion sell down here. This was almost getting the move going, and down here, so we're absolutely critical levels, 3600 technically. 45-minute chart, there's the low down there. We had a beautiful little Rambo pattern. Talk about Rambo to Rambo channels. So this is the Rambo patterns on the 45-minute charts that we had, the whole family of them up those highs there, 4300. And they've kind of been played out all the way down to the lows down here. So here we've got more signals: pullback to end of trend, pullback to end of trend, low, intermediate kind of time frame. But we've got that cluster of exhaustion sell signals. We've got to see similar type thing: exhaustion sell, blue professional bars at the lows, and we're not seeing it on the 45-minute chart. 135-minute chart, that's exhaustion sell getting the move going. We're not seeing exhaustion sell on the way down. On the daily chart, same thing. We've got all these flush patterns at the highs, but no exhaustion sell down there. So I'm a little bit of a broken record talking about this exhaustion pattern over the last couple of weeks. But a pre-open exhaustion pattern like we had here on the 13,500 tip bar chart really doesn't kind of do it for me. We need to see something like on the 15-minute chart to end it there. So absolutely critical levels, 3,600. We've got all these patterns kind of going on. I think we're going to have to break through it and go see an exhaustion pattern somewhere between here certainly and 3,500. Everybody knows now the 3,500 level is absolutely key. So maybe that's the one that needs to get tested in order for those kind of exhaustion patterns to come in. So we shall wait and see this week. So now let's go look at the simplified view with the signals on the charts. Quickly look at the E-mini 13,500 here. The yellow vertical lines show us the beginning and end of the week. And so during this week on the E-mini we were trying to find these kind of lows with signals going off because we had exhaustion, bullish divergence signals. We were oversold here, and then we got the drop on the CPI numbers, and we get another signal after that. Come up into those highs, but we've not got exhaustion buy patterns at this point, so market's definitely trying to find a low here. That's why we've got all these exhaustion sell signals down here at these lows. So could be an important week possibly for a turn there because of those signals. So let's see if that happens. Bonds, same thing. So bonds keep on weakening and weakening. We got signals long at the beginning of the week that kind of went nowhere, then short, but now we've got a signal long at the moment on bonds. And this is a stair-step trade. So we got exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, just one blue professional bar at the lows, which isn't many, but at the end of the week we come back to test into those levels and more blue professional bars kind of come in here. So that's a stair-step trade. So maybe bonds are going to kind of rally from here. On the daily charts, we're into all kinds of cyclical support areas on bonds. I know bonds have been sold off and off and off, but at some point, the pros are looking at the yields and saying this is kind of too big to too good to miss. So they're going to jump into bonds, and maybe we'll get a rally in bonds at some point with potentially a little bit of a sell-off in equities. But this is British pound, and this is why I was kind of long and short British pound this week. So beginning of the week we had signals down here at the lows. We came down to 110 on the pound, and we rallied into 114. 115 I think was the high the previous week, and then we got kind of signals short, and this one's nice for kind of reversal here. So we got blue professional bars when they test into almost 13. Blue professional bars, exhaustion buys kind of come in here. And a lot of this move this week in the British pound was just driven by the news coming out of the UK, which is a bit of a dumpster fire basically, with kind of reversals of government policy and firing of ministers, replacement of ministers and whatever. So anyway, kind of long and short signals this week for the British pound. And the British pound has kind of diverged from the other currencies because we've got the euro this week kind of making lows down here at 97. Whole family of blue professional bars kind of step in. We've got some triple signals kind of going off. We're just coming in to test here. So let's see if the euro kind of holds this week and rallies. Aussie dollar has been hit super hard. We're down at 62s, but again down here at the lows we've got exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, flush patterns kind of coming in, a couple of signals coming in, testing back down to that level down there. So not a lot of blue professional bars kind of come in yet, but let's see if the Aussie dollar kind of holds next week and rallies. Japanese yen continues just to sell off and off and off. You can see the signals we had last week to go short, bang, it's just continued down and down and down. I mean, this trade has been the trade of the year. Basically, short euro from short yen from the beginning of the year would be a monster trade, but it continues to come down to those lows, no signals with blue professional bars or exhaustion sells. So that's the yen. Yeah, gold, silver, and Bitcoin. So we had a nice rally in gold 2 weeks ago, bang, up to 1730, and it kind of turned around after exhaustion by bearish divergence. But we did not get signals at that point because we'd had a bullish divergence signal with blue professional bars into those lows. So although we broke the trailing stop with better pro-am and it kind of traded down, it didn't generate a signal there, which was a shame. On the way down here, all we've had is exhaustion buy at this point. We're coming down 1650, so we've had no signals to kind of hold the market in gold, but obviously 1630 down here is going to be key, so we'll see what goes on there. Silver, same thing. Silver, we had this big rally into 21, but there was no exhaustion buy patterns up these highs, and we've kind of just slunk off and kept on going down and down and down. So we're back down to 18, where things kind of started the rally last time. No exhaustion sell patterns down there. Yep, some blue professional bars, but that's kind of continuing to be frustrating for silver. Bitcoin, yep, up and down this week. Again, still using this 4,500 tip bar chart, and I probably should bounce it up. Could not catch these lows down here, and there's the sell-off. Bitcoin followed the E-mini all the way down, and then we got a whole bunch of blue professional bars, 18,002, 4 down here, caught, and we've rallied from there, and we've kind of come off a little bit, but we're still oversold with the background in red, so that's not looking as if it's going to catch until we see blue professional bars. Crude, we had this really nice rally a couple of weeks ago from the 78 level. Midway, I was trading at 82 to 86. Got out here with blue professional bars. We had signals, they were too early. We had signals at the high though at 92. Yep, and that was nice. And the signals this week on Thursday, Friday don't look right, because that's exhaustion sell kind of getting the move going. So that's in the wrong place, if you like. So we're going to go see how far down crude goes, a little stair step kind of trade in there at 85. So crude's looking weak, but natural gas, a lot of activity, a lot of blue professional bars coming in at these lows down here at $6.40. So we were kind of short at the end of last week into here. Exhaustion sell signals, blue professional bars. We don't have a bullish divergence signal yet on natural gas, so let's see if natural gas kind of holds this week. Copper, I think, got hit, just like the other markets, followed the E-mini really. Sell off on Thursday, rally all the way back, but we've had no signals this week or last week. It was 2 weeks ago we got a long signal there, but that's not kind of played out. We didn't have exhaustion buy, blue professional bars at the highs up here at 360 or whatever, and the blue professional bars have come in at the lows here, so it's trying to make a bottom at that point on copper, but obviously I think that's just going to follow the kind of equities markets. And then the ags. So last week on the video I said, why would you be bothering with ags? Because the big activity was in kind of the big markets, Euro, E-mini, 10-year notes, and of course we had the biggest move I've seen in the ags for a long time, Sunday night into Monday, where we just had this monster rally, and I suppose it was set off by some news events, but I couldn't follow what was going on there. All three ags just kind of set off to the upside here. So we'd had exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, blue professional bars kind of come in here, but didn't trigger a signal. We got a reverse signal at that point. We got all these exhaustion buy patterns. Corn is looking very toppy on the daily charts, so I wonder if this is going to break down, and this move was just kind of a clear out move that's going to reverse and kind of go the other way. So I'll be looking at the daily charts on the ags this week just to see if something big is setting up. Soybeans, similar thing. That Sunday night move wasn't as dramatic as corn, but we were kind of catching at that point, and then at the end of the week we had signals kind of short, and then wheat, yeah, that was the move on the Sunday night. Bang, just went explosive to the highs, exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, no blue professional bars at the highs, and it just came all the way back down. So this week might take a look at the daily charts on the ags to see if there's a bigger picture trade kind of setting up on corn, soybeans and wheat. But if they're starting to weaken, and we've also got crude back down at 85, copper's kind of weak. I don't know, does that signal that CPI numbers are going to be weakening over the next couple of months? Certainly that's the equation that everybody's got to figure out, I suppose, to see if we get a rally in the equities and bond markets where the Fed kind of does a U-turn, or at least kind of slows down on the rate rises, because the CPI numbers actually do come off those highs that we've seen in the last couple of months. Anyway, that's the conundrum that the market is trying to solve at the moment. Still come back to the 15-minute chart with our triples here at 3600, that's a key level, and the cyclical energy is starting to swing down. So there we go, some ramblings on my charts. Not really feeling it at the end of this video. Sometimes I'm convinced about some trades on some charts and kind of jump into those signals on the Sunday evening into the Monday, but not really kind of seeing anything. It's going to be absolutely key, this 3600 level kind of going forward. So maybe I just need to clear my head, go surfing today, and take a look at my charts this evening as the market opens. Anyway, good luck with your trading this week.